Morning. My name is Shane Lloyd, and I'm the Assistant Director for First Year and Sophomore Programs at the Brown Center for Students of Color. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my class experience at Brown and how I see class play out here. First, I'll say that, as an elite Ivy League institution, I think class permeates the entire institution or even the subject of higher education to the extent that education is still seen as one of the primary vehicles by which people can achieve social mobility, and that becomes significantly more pronounced when you talk about an Ivy League institution, which is historically designed to maintain the station of the elites, and in recent times has become an opportunity for other people to gain social mobility from various places that they occupy across the class spectrum. And the way I see class play out, in a variety of ways, but I'll talk a little bit about one of the pre-orientation programs that I run. It is known as the Third World Tuition Program, and it invites 200 first-year students to engage in conversations around racism, sexism, classism, heterosexism, and homophobia, ableism, imperialism, and this year we added in cissexism. And particularly honing in on the classism piece, the workshop, which is student-led, provides an opportunity for people to think about their class backgrounds and identities and engage in dialogue about difficult issues related to what does it mean to be accepted to an Ivy League institution, what does it mean to be accepted to an institution where for every seat one student has, 9 of the students get rejected, and to derive prestige from an exclusive structure and process. And what does it mean to come from a different identity, such as that's not been historically represented, either low income or first generation college student, and then become acculturated within this elite sphere? What are the indicators that you need to begin to adopt, or what are the ways in which you are not only changed by the institution, but can change the institution such that it's more inclusive? Those are some of the conversations that happen in that workshop. And then throughout the year, there's a program called the Minority Counselor Program, which I also supervise, where students are exploring class and classism as they relate to racial identity and other domains of oppression. And it's been really interesting to see how students have articulated their experiences with class before they come to Brown and even as it plays out. Because one of the conversations that we have as advisors is thinking about, is the open curriculum as available to every student as possible, given some of the considerations that students have when thinking about what career trajectory they're entering or what courses they're going to explore. For example, parents are a major influence. The expense of the education, whether it's through families providing and paying for your tuition or through financial aid opportunities or loans, all of those factors can significantly impact how deeply a student engages with the open curriculum. Additionally, what kind of lifestyle is marketed here at Brown, and what opportunities can people participate in depending on what resources they have at their disposal. For some students, going home for winter break isn't possible because it's too far, or going on a really lavish vacation for spring break is a challenge, or even eating out on there all the time as opposed to going off a meal plan. All of these things can be a challenge, and those are some of the ways that I see class manifesting itself at the institution. And then there's the other question of, let's see, you'll probably have to do some editing. There we go. Oh, did I run out of memory?
No, I said I'm sorry. I don't remember the question.
Oh, no worries. And then, well, as far as specific areas of campus where class becomes more evident, well, I'd say anything that requires a fee, because one can never know what's the ability of a person, what's a person's ability to pay for anything, whether it's going downtown to the movies, eating on Thayer, or joining a group or a fraternity or sorority, or even classes. Classes also have a fee structure when you think of the books that people need to purchase. So I would say, yeah, it permeates the environment. And is there a strong community of low-income and first-generation students? I think that the community is growing in strength and numbers, and I really appreciate that Dean Yolanda Rome, and then Ricky Gersh are taking on leadership to provide support to the students. And I think that the strength of the community is also derived from the students taking ownership of their experiences. I think of last year when a group of students came together to do a first-gen group independent study project. That was really, really helpful to have students working on that, exploring that identity deeply, and then presenting to the staff and administration about where they see the first gen experience going and how that first gen experience could be particularly unique within the context of the Ivy League. And I found that the recommendations that they provide, some of them are really, really helpful to thinking about and strengthening the support that's provided to the first gen college experience. How are low income students here at Brown supported? And do you think that there is enough support? Well, currently, there's provided support through the Dean of the College, through Dean Yolanda Rome, in partnership with Ricky Gresh and Campus Life and Student Services, and in collaboration with the Brown Center for Students of Color. So that's an overarching. And then, do I think that there's enough support? Well, I think when it comes to enough, it's always dependent on what is it that the students are asking for and what's our capacity as an institution to provide for that. So I think that it's where it can be at the moment, is as much as I can think to say. And I think that once students begin to have more conversations with students at other institutions to see what and how the structures operate elsewhere, that can help students envision what support would look like more adequately at the institution. Oh, and grad students. So I was a Master of Public Health student here at Brown University, and one of the ways in which I saw class pay out is based on who worked at the time for their degree and then who had the luxury of just, being a student. I know that I had 3 positions. I was a graduate advising fellow, a student, but then I also worked at the Rhode Island Department of Health. And although the Rhode Island Department of Health experience was a great practical and learning experience and allowed me to apply my learning, it also helped offset the cost of my degree significantly. So I think that part of the ease in which I could pay for my degree was based on having that opportunity to work, whereas some of my other classmates had their families completely fully paid for their degrees, such that they could pretty much spend most of the time working on projects solely, as opposed to working on projects and doing other things to stitch their livelihood here at Brown together. Mm-hmm.